Now we will discuss about the second chapter, and that second chapter, it is for the approximate analysis of the structure. When that structure it is subjected to the lateral load, means horizontal load, and when that structure it is subjected to the vertical loads, means your dead load and live load. So that we have to study. So if you see the syllabus for this second chapter, so here, so what are the points you have to study? So we have to study approximate methods of the analysis for multi-storied building frame, multi-storied 2-bay 2D rigid jointed frame. Okay, multi-storied building frame like this, 2-bay 2-story or 3-bay 2-story like this frame we have to study by substitute frame method, cantilever method, and portal method. So there are three methods you have to study for the approximate analysis, because if you see the multi-story building frame and to perform the manual analysis, it is not possible or it will take some time. So to arrive at some conclusion, we should know some approximate values of the bending moment. So what parameters we have to find out in the analysis? So mostly we are dealing with the three parameters. First will be the bending moment. Okay. So what we have to find out? We have to find out the bending moment. Then we have to find out the shear force. Then we have to find out the axial force. Okay. These are the three parameters that we have to work out using these three methods. So when to use which method, that we will discuss in detail. So currently you try to remember. So approximate analysis we are performing to get the parameters like bending moment, shear force, and the axial force. Okay. Now in as per examination point of view, these two methods, portal method and the cantilever methods, are very much important. First we are going to discuss the portal method, then we will discuss the cantilever method. Substitute frame method, it is not going to ask in your examination. So this method is required for the ESD3 for the design of the frame. Now, so these approximate methods we have to perform for the multi-storied building frame. So initially the multi-storied building frame, suppose this is the multi-storied building frame. Okay, this is the frame, suppose 3-bay 2-story, 3-bay 2-story, and all the supports, all the bottom supports, suppose they are fixed one, they are fixed. So the given frame is statically determinate or indeterminate. Yes, given frame is statically determinate or indeterminate. This particular frame, statically determinate or indeterminate, 4 fixed support, 3-bay 2-story, G+1 structure आहे. This is first bay, second bay, third bay. कसा है स्ट्रक्चर है? स्टॅटिकली डिटर्मिनेट और इनडिटर्मिनेट, कोण सांगेल? दया. The given structure is statically determinate or indeterminate. Yes, anyone? Jayant? The given structure is, this particular structure is determinate or indeterminate. दोनच पॉसिबिलिटी आहेत ना. काय असेल हे?
Indeterminate.
Indeterminate, correct. So we can't perform the actual solution using the manual method. If you use any, suppose flexibility method. So the flexibility method, it depends on what? DSI value. If the DSI is 4, then we will get 4/4 matrix. Now tell me, what is the DSI of this particular frame? DSI किती आहे? कोण सांगेल? Formula R-3 plus 3 into C. So what is number of R here? 4 fixed support. So at each fixed support there are 3 unknown reactions. So 4 into 3, 12. 12 minus 3, 9 is DSI external, and DSI internal will be 3 into C. Number of closed loops are 3. So 3 into 3, 9. Means the DSI value is 18. समजतंय का बघा? DSI आहे 18. If you use the flexibility method, so how many unknowns you will get? 18 unknowns. 18 unknown forces you will get, and the matrix will be of order 18/18. समजतंय का बघा? मॅट्रिक्स कसा असेल तो 18/18 चा मॅट्रिक्स असेल. 18 by 18 square matrix will be there, and the number of elements will be 18 into 18. So that many elements we have to find out if you use the flexibility method. So manually we can't go for the matrix which is more than 3 by 3 matrix, because manually or using calci we can solve up to 3 by 3 matrix only. So that's why what we have to do here in the approximate analysis method, so somehow by making certain assumptions, so this statically indeterminate structure we have to convert into the statically determinate structure. काय करायचं आपल्याला? By making certain assumptions, so this particular statically indeterminate structure we have to convert into statically determinate structure. So whenever the structure is determinate, whenever the structure is determinate, so how many unknown reactions will be there? Maximum unknown reactions for statically determinate structure. What is my question? So what are the maximum unknown reactions for statically determinate structure? Maximum I'm talking about, maximum. Yes. मॅक्झिमम किती रिॲक्शन असतील फॉर स्टॅटिकली डिटर्मिनेट स्ट्रक्चर?
2.
ओके, फर्स्ट आन्सर इज 2. आणखीन कोणाला कॉमेंट करायचं आहे? फर्स्ट आन्सर इज 2. ओके, एनीवन एल्स? Maximum unknown reactions for statically determinate structure. Example I will give: cantilever beam, simply supported beam, overhanging beam. So maximum unknown reactions are how much? It will be 3. Actually 2, practically we are getting 2, but there is a horizontal reaction also. If there is a horizontal load, then horizontal reaction also be there. So maximum unknowns will be 3. If the maximum unknowns are 3 for statically determinate structure, समजून घ्या व्यवस्थित. Initially the structure is statically indeterminate. Okay, then by making certain assumptions we are converting that structure into the statically determinate. Okay, we are converting that structure into statically determinate structure. Then the maximum unknown reactions are 3, which can be solved by equations of statics. These 3 reactions we can solve using the available equations of statics. That will be summation fx equal to 0, summation fy equal to 0, and summation of moment equal to 0. That's it. This is the core funda of this approximate analysis method. So given structure will have definitely DSI greater than 3. By making certain assumptions, we have to convert that structure into statically determinate. Now we know that for statically determinate structure, maximum unknowns are less than or equal to 3. Less than or equal to 3. The unknowns are, or we can say the unknown forces or the unknown reactions are less than or equal to 3. Less than or equal to 3, which can be solved using available 3 conditions: summation fx, summation fy, and summation of movement. So here what we have to do is just we have to apply that equation of statics. Equations of statics. Simply mechanics is there. No any hard concept you have to study. Okay, and these are the 3 methods you have to study. Now in this session we will start with the portal method. Okay, समजते का बघा? And the total funda of the second chapter is equation of statics. Summation fx, summation fy, moment at point, any point is equal to 0. So that's why we are going to discuss only one numerical and one you have to solve as a homework, because no any hard such logic is there. Just we have to apply the equations of statics. So what is the difference between these 3 methods? So first method we have to study, that is the substitute frame method. Substitute frame method that we have to use for the approximate analysis whenever we are considering the vertical loads on a structure. Suppose this is the frame, multi-storied building frame is there, and that particular building frame, it is subjected to the vertical load. Means it will be your dead load as well as it will be your live load. Dead load plus live load. If we have to perform the analysis of multi-storied building frame subjected to the vertical loads, then we have to go with the substitute frame method, and using this analysis we have to design the frame in SD3. Clear? And the next it will be your portal method. So this portal method we have to use for the approximate analysis whenever the frame is subjected to the lateral load. Suppose this is the frame. Okay, this is the frame, 2 by 2 story, and it is subjected to the horizontal load. It is subjected to the horizontal load. Suppose this is P1, P2. Horizontal load, or we can say the lateral load, and this wind load, it is also acting in the horizontal direction. So we can say the frame, when it is subjected to the lateral load or the horizontal load or the wind load, then we have to use the portal method. Similarly, for the cantilever method also, whenever the structure or multi-storied building frame subjected to the lateral load, horizontal load or the wind load, we have to use the cantilever method. Now, so there are two conditions. So when to use the portal method and when to use the cantilever method. So whenever the height of building is less, whenever height of building is less as compared to its width. Okay. Whenever height of building is less as compared to its width, then we have to go with the portal method. Okay. Then we have to use the portal method for the approximate analysis. Or we can say portal method, it is more suitable for the low rise structure. Portal method, it is most suitable for the low rise structure. Okay. Whereas the cantilever method, so whenever height of building is much greater than its width, height of building is much greater than its width, then we have to go with the cantilever method. Or we can conclude the cantilever method, it is suitable for high rise structure. High rise structure. So for your online examination point of view or MCQ examination point of view, the first point we have to remember, substitute frame method, it is used for the approximate analysis whenever the frame is subjected to the vertical loads. So due to the vertical loads, substitute frame method. So due to the lateral load or the horizontal load, so there are two methods, portal method and the cantilever method. Portal method, low rise structure, suitable for the low rise structure, height is less than its width. Cantilever method, high rise structure, where height is greater than its width. So these are the basic difference between these three methods. Now we will start with the portal method. So first method, portal method. So what assumptions you have to make? So initially the given frame, initially multi-storied building frame, it is statically indeterminate. So using certain assumptions, we have to convert this statically indeterminate frame into statically determinate one. So what are the assumptions? So the first assumption is that point of inflection are located at mid height of each column. Means what? Point of inflection, or we can say point of contraflexure, it is located at mid height of each column. Now see here, how many columns are there? Frame to frame or story to story, if you consider, how many columns are there in this particular frame, which is G plus 2, 3 bay G plus 2 building frame is there. किती column आहेत सांगा? How many columns are there for this particular frame? Yes. How many columns are there? So we can say there are 12 columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 column for the ground story, then first story 4, and the second story 4. So total 12 columns are there. And what is our assumption? Point of inflection are located at mid height of each column. Means if you consider mid height of each column, so h by 2, h by 2, h by 2. So these are the locations for the point of inflection for the columns. Means if the height is L, then at L by 2, point of inflection will be there. समजते का बघा? At mid height of each column. So these are the points where point of inflection will be there. So point of inflections are the point where bending moment is zero. So what is point of inflection? Where bending moment should be zero. Okay. Suppose this is the column. So point of inflection will be at its mid height. Suppose height is h. So at that particular point, this height will be now h by 2. And if you draw the bending moment diagram, so bending moment at that inflection point, it has to be zero. Clear? Similarly, the second assumption will be same. That will be applicable for the beams. And what is that assumption? So assumption is point of inflection for beam, it is located at mid span of each beam, means same as that of the column. In case of beam also, in case of beam also, point of inflection or point of contraflexure, it is located at its mid span, means at a L by 2. So these are the locations where bending moment will be zero, or we can see these are the point of inflections. समजते का बघा? Mid height of each column, mid span of each beam. So point of inflection where bending moment is zero. Where bending moment is zero, for column it is located at h by 2, and for beam it will be L by 2. So these are two basic assumptions which are common for Portal method as well as cantilever method also. Third and basic assumptions. Horizontal shear of interior column is twice as that of the exterior columns. So this horizontal shear is nothing but we can say horizontal reaction or shear force in case of column. So if I draw the FBD, suppose this is the FBD, okay, and this height, we can say this will be h by 2. Okay, so these are the points of inflection for the columns. These are the point of inflection for the columns. So total story, suppose this is the fixed support. So I have taken the section here at mid height of each column. Suppose height is h or 4 meter. Now this distance will be 2 meter, or we can say height divided by 2. Okay, this is point of inflection. So at a point of inflection, if you take a section in case of beam, then you will get two forces or two unknowns. So first will be the horizontal reaction, second will be the vertical reaction. So if you take a section in case of column or in case of beam, there will be two unknown forces. If you take the section in case of beam, or if you take the section in case of column, so what we get two reactions. One is vertical, another is horizontal, or we can say two forces you will get. One is vertical, another is horizontal, and that forces we have to find out using available equations, Fx, Fy, and moment. Now here, so what assumptions we are having? Horizontal shear, horizontal reaction in case of column is twice as that of the interior one, means the columns which are interior, the columns which are interior. So this is the column which is interior column, this is interior column, isn't it? This is interior column. So the horizontal reaction for these two, internal or interior column, it will be twice as that of the exterior one. So for exterior column, we will consider the horizontal shear as H. Okay, horizontal shear as capital H. For exterior it will be capital H, this will be capital H. So that of for interior column it will be twice of H. This is third assumption which is very important. Horizontal shear of interior column, it will be twice as that of the exterior one. So using this assumption, initially we have to find out the horizontal shear for the column by just applying. Now tell me, if this is the FBD, so how to get the value of H? How to get the value of H? How to get the value of H? कौन सांगेल? For this free body diagram, if I take the section at mid height of the column, this is free body diagram, and if I have to find out the H, so which equation I have to use here or what conditions I have to use? कोण सांगेल?
f of x is equal to 0.
Very good. Summation fx equal to 0. Now see here, all the forces are horizontal forces. So here, what we have to use? Make the summation of horizontal forces equal to 0. Sign convention, right side positive, left side negative. So this 18 kilonewton load, it is acting on the right hand side. That's why plus. Whereas all the horizontal shears are acting on the left hand side. That's why minus. Now there will be total 6h. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So minus 6h is equal to 0. Is equal to 0. Summation fx equal to 0. So the value of h will be plus 3 kilonewton. Now tell me, what is the significance of that plus sign? What is the significance of that plus sign? What that plus sign indicates? Answer is plus. What it indicates?
Our assumption is right.
Correct. Our assumed direction of horizontal shear, it is correct one. And what direction you assume? So horizontal shear, it is acting on the left hand side. So this will be 3, this will be 3, and this will be twice of h, twice of 3, it will be 6. Now these are the horizontal shear. Okay, these are the horizontal shear. Now once you get the horizontal shear, next you have to take the section at mid span of the beam, and then you will get the unknown forces, and that forces you have to find out using available conditions, fx fy moment. Now tell me, if I take the section at mid span of the beam, how many unknown I will get that x point? X point ला किती unknown असतील? x point ला सेक्शन घेतला मिड स्पॅन ऑफ बीम मध्ये, तर किती अननोन फोर्सेस असतील? Yes. If I take the section at mid span of the beam, how many unknown forces will be there? Yes, anyone? कौन सांगेल fast?
2.
2. Very good. So first will be vertical, second will be horizontal. Okay. Now here, this is already section we have considered at point of inflection h by 2. So at this point also there will be two unknown forces. Out of two, one horizontal force we have found out. Then second will be the vertical force that we have to find out. Means if you take the section at mid height of the column and mid span of the beam, initially there will be four forces. Here it will be 2, here it will be 2. But using the third assumption, horizontal shear assumption, we can find out the h. We can find out the h. Now at each joint, the point for the portal method, at each joint there will be how many unknown forces we have to find out then? किती unknown forces राहतील मग प्रत्येक जॉइंटला, if you consider this joint? How many unknown forces are there? There will be 3 unknown forces. So this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be 3. Out of 3 unknown forces, 2 will be vertical and 1 will be horizontal. Okay, means at each and every joint in a portal method, the unknown forces are 3. Out of 3, 2 are vertical, 1 is horizontal. So at each and every joint, you have to draw the FBD. Then we have to find out the 2 vertical forces and 1 horizontal force using the 3 conditions. As unknowns are 3, so we have to use 3 conditions: summation fx, summation fy, and moment equal to 0. Before that, we have to take the section at mid height of the column. स्टोरीच्या मिड हाईटला सेक्शन घ्यायचं आहे, and we have to apply the third assumption. Horizontal shear of interior column, it will be twice as that of the exterior one. That's it. So this is the fundamentals of the portal method. Okay, and steps to follow. So what are the steps you have to follow? First, suppose there are 2 or 3 story frame is there, so we have to start with from the upper story. Okay, or the top story we have to start with. Consider upper story for the analysis. Okay, suppose this is the frame. Okay, this is the frame we have to analyze, subjected to the horizontal loading, and we have to take the sections. We have to take the section at mid height of top story. mid height of the top story. So this will be h by 2. Okay. So if I take the section at mid height of the column, so from third assumption, we know that horizontal shear of interior column, it will be twice as that of the exterior one. Then we have to use the summation fx equal to 0 to get the value of h. काय करायचं बघा, take the section at mid height for the upper story, or we can say top story, find out the h, then assume inflection point at mid span of beam and find out the forces. Means take the section at center of beam and at mid height of the column and use the three conditions: summation fx, fy, and movement. Okay, so these using equations of statics means summation fx, summation fy, and summation of movement. Three unknowns will be there. So what is the characteristics of this portal method? At each joint you will get three unknowns. Out of three, two are vertical, one is horizontal. Okay, for MCQ type, you have to remember this. Two are vertical, one is horizontal. That we have to find out using available equations. Then after upper story analysis, we have to consider bottom story for the analysis. Again, take the section for the bottom story at mid height by keeping upper story as it is. Suppose this is the frame and we have to perform the analysis for the bottom story. Now here, take the section for the bottom story at mid height of that column. Now this is the section for the bottom story. Again apply summation fx by keeping horizontal load for top story and bottom story as it is. Get the h. Again use the assumption, take the section at mid span of the beam, mid height of the column, use three conditions, get the forces. And lastly, draw the superimposed BMD. So this is the basic steps to follow using portal method. Okay, these are only 4 steps you have to follow, but the basic fundamentals is that we have to use three equations, three unknown condition, means summation fx equal to 0, summation fy equal to 0, and summation of movement equal to 0. Now we will discuss how to apply that three conditions. Suppose there is a one joint. Suppose this load is 10 kilonewton. Okay, this is 10 kilonewton. This is suppose 2 meter. This is also 2 meter. And this is suppose 3 kilonewton horizontal load. Okay. And the unknown forces that you have to find out. Suppose this will be 1, this will be 2, and this will be 3. So these are three forces we have to find out. This is 2 meter. This is 2 meter. Height is 2 meter. This is 3 kilonewtons. Suppose this is joint A. So at a joint A, there are three unknown forces that you have to find out. 1, 2, 3. So we have to use three conditions: summation fx, summation fy, summation of movement. Hey Zamelka, if you able to solve for these three forces, then you can solve any of the numerical from the portal method. So this is the homework, or this is the assignment up to 11:30. Tell me the answer for this. Okay, that's a screenshot here and tell me the answer in next session at 11:30. So at next session we'll start with the numerical. Join with the same link. Okay. So we'll meet at 11:30. Thank you.